Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to be doing now a series of Secrets of Career Analysis podcasts for all you beautiful people. This may be helpful, especially if you are looking to succeed in your current job or looking to change your career path or do something in case you have lost your job due to artificial intelligence, AI, and so on and so forth. First of all, let me dispel the fear that AI is going to do anything like taking your jobs and making everybody jobless. That's not going to be the case, at least so far as I'm concerned. Even though I use AI in my podcasts extensively, that is just a correlation mechanism between the notes I have already made from 2 certification courses I have done. By the way, the entire Vedic Astrology basic course is available now online in the memberships area in case you wish to deep dive and understand all the basics there is to know about this thing called Vedic Astrology. That is also made using AI. But that is just a capturing mechanism for my own notes and my own understanding and my experience of reading charts. Okay, so it is not like blindly I have put AI into the business. That's not the way AI works anyway. Alright, so talking of secrets of career analysis, first I'm going to be doing between Natal and Navamsha and using the Jaimini system of astrology. Going forward, I shall be explaining to you all the principles of Amatyakaraka as it relates to your career, as it relates to Jaimini astrology, and what tips you can take from there to understand your career paths and your planets and points. And going forward, I shall even be doing the case studies like I did for all the previous ones. So let's begin with the basics, part 1. Number 1, what is Amatyakaraka in Jaimini astrology? What does it mean by saying Amatyakaraka? It directly means, translated from Sanskrit, it means the minister. Atmakaraka being the king or the soul aspect. Amatyakaraka is the planet in your natal chart which is of second highest degree angle. Jaimini system considers angles. Okay. This is planet with the second highest degree in your natal chart is your Amatyakaraka. Think of Amatyakaraka as the second house of your natal chart if you use traditional astrology. The Amatyakaraka planet is responsible for earning wealth, income for your family. That planet, that sign, whatever it is sitting on, that is what is responsible for your wealth earning capacity, or in what way you will be doing your profession. What is your profession really like? We'll be using this form of analysis. Check the planetary significations first, the sign which the planet is sitting on next, and then the house placements later in that order of significance. In order for us to understand the energies that are playing into your career part of your life. This is one part of your life. We are only discussing career here. Check the placement of the sign and placement in natal, and then see which sign or house it travels to in the Navamsha. First check all the natal aspects and then see where it goes into the Navamsha. Natal is where it will play out in the physical reality, like we discussed before in the Nakshatrapada series. Navamsha shows the part that will provide the qualities and characteristics to the Amatyakaraka planet. And you shall see all this as we go forward. Don't panic too much if you find all these concepts very alien, okay? Hang in with me. Now, as you can see in the slide, this one, check basics part 2. I have taken a case here. For example, the natal chart is on your left, displayed there, and Navamsha of the same person is displayed on the right, okay? So we have 2 charts, natal as well as Navamsha. Now the number of Karakas I am using in Jaiminis for the sake of this study is 7 Karakas. I am not using Rahu. Okay, it's not 8 Karakas, it is 7. So the AMK which is said here is Amatyakaraka in this person's case, which is Saturn. And the Saturn, first we have to see as per the rules, is where it is placed. It is placed in the 5th house in the sign of Gemini, in the natal chart. But in Navamsha, it goes to the sign of Aquarius in the 10th house, the same planet. So the travel of the Amatyakaraka from Natal to Navamsha, it has changed sign, it has changed house as well. Planet is the same. Okay? Bear this in mind as we go forward. I'm going to stick this introduction in every single podcast just for ease. If you have seen this before, just skip to the part where you want to come to the learning part. Basics part 3. I have used 7 Karakas which are considered in this study. The Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn. Totally 7 solid planets, ignoring Rahu and Ketu as the basis, as per the scriptures. Okay? Aspects of the Karakas are different from the main system. In Jaimini system, the aspects are considered based on the signs where they're aspecting each other. Fixed signs aspect all movable signs except the one next to them. Movable signs aspect all the fixed signs except the one next to them, and dual signs aspect one another. Just remember this. You can even GPT it if you want. So it is based on the rules of the Jaimini system, not the mainstream system. Okay? Just understand this. After I cover the planets as Amatyakaraka, and going forward by Amatyakaraka in Navamsha and that characteristic, this itself will be very large number of podcasts. Then I shall begin the case study podcast for better learning and grounding, because learning astrology without studying any amount of doing charts, natal charts, studying n number of charts, okay, unless we indulge in that, well, the study of astrology just becomes esoteric. It has no grounding, it has no value. It's like studying physics without any proof in the lab. You have to prove it. Is this true for me or not? That should be your question. It can't be just an idle rant or a philosophical rant of some kind. Vedic astrology is as real as it gets, folks. Okay? Career analysis with Amatyakaraka. Now we talk about Mars as your planet with the second highest degree in your natal chart. Then it becomes your Amatyakaraka, determinant of your career path. Again, we analyze in terms of what kind of people might be associated with Mars as planet. What is the attitude of Mars? What are the types of work Mars is associated with, and then the conjunctions. Right. People. Mars is associated with people in sports. It stands for brothers. It stands for military and police, law enforcement of all kinds. It stands for surgeons of all kinds. It stands for leaders, because Mars is a leader, very fiery energy. Mars wants to cut and bleed, therefore military, police, surgeons. People in uniform. Did you think about that? All people who want uniforms. Anywhere you see people in uniform, they have some Mars going on there. People in uniform. Activists of all kinds. Chefs of all kinds, because Mars stands for cutting. And Mars also stands for fire. It's a fiery planet. Where does cutting and fire dominantly appear? In the kitchens, right? Therefore, chefs. Real estate developers, because Mars also stands for land and real estate. Also, gym coaches of all kinds. All the physical workout. Mars is a very physical planet. Very kinesthetic planet, really. And all about logic. What is the attitude of Mars? They are initiators. They are action and goal-oriented people. Mars' dominant focus is on action. What do I do now? What do I do next? Let's get this stuff done. That's Mars. Initiators. Let's do new stuff. And by when are we doing it? Goal-oriented. Logic-driven. Mars is a highly logical-driven planet. Okay? Which is unlike Moon, if you ask. Because Moon is a very emotional-driven planet. Mars is a logic-driven planet. They are natural leaders. Aries, think Leo. They are aggressive in nature. So wherever aggression of some form is needed, wherever drive and logic is needed, think Mars. Types of work association with Mars when it comes to Amatyakaraka may be property, again land, construction, Especially Mars with Saturn gives construction. Mars is land, Saturn is construction. All engineering, all kinds of engineers come from Mars. They have some Mars somewhere, aspecting their Ketu, aspecting their Mercury, Saturn, and so on. These make engineers of all kinds. Involving fire and cutting, like cooking, restaurants, cafes, because all of them involve kitchens. Wherever kitchen is involved, think careers of Mars. Wherever fighting is involved, like the military, like police, like law enforcement. Wherever physical activity is involved, like sports, gym, anything involving a badge or a uniform, all people in uniform have Mars dominant in their career path. Let's see now what conjunctions bring in. Conjunctions with moon, Mars with moon, opposite kind, isn't it? One is logic, one is emotion. But here's what you don't realize. Mars with moon can bring careers in real estate. Food and restaurants, because moon is a Karaka of food. And Mars is a Karaka of kitchen and everything that goes on in the kitchen. Cutting, fire, burning. Cafes, again similar connotation. Mass activists, why? Because moon stands for the masses. Mars is an activist, so mass activism comes from moon and Mars. The travel industry, because moon is responsible for travels. Heart surgeons, again because it's Mars and moon. Surgeons comes from Mars, heart comes from moon. With Mercury, what does it do? Mars is Amatyakaraka and conjoined or aspected by Mercury. Engineering, like I said, Mars and Mercury will give engineering of any kind. Lawyers, sales and marketing. Why is lawyers here, you might ask? Because Mars is fighting. Lawyers are constantly fighting for something, isn't it, in the courts? It's a battleground. Just spoken in words, that's all, but battleground nevertheless. Sales and marketing, because Mercury is a good salesperson and Mars provides the logic. How do I jump up my product sales for this quarter, and so on and so forth. Then comes sports. All kinds of sporting activity requires logic and reasoning. Tackling all kinds of, forehand, backhand in tennis, for example. Analytics of all kinds, because Mercury is also logic and reasoning, Mars is also logic and reasoning. So they go very well hand in hand together, Mercury and Mars. Next conjunction with Venus, what could they do? Because Venus we saw was refinement in the earlier one. They can be into hotel management, because hotels are considered refinement. Hospitality industry is Venus. Combine that with Mars, management. Action is required, isn't it? Just thinking about hotel is not enough. Hotel management is action driven. It requires logic. Event planning and execution. Luxury and cosmetics industry. Cosmetic surgery. Again, Venus plus Mars. Mars is surgery, cosmetics is Venus. Textiles, because Venus comes there. And Mars cuts there also. You need to cut the cloth, refine the cloth, weave the cloth. All these are Martian activities. Farming and agriculture, because Venus is concerned with agriculture, like I said in the Venus one. Pharmaceuticals. Venus is concerned with pharmaceuticals. It has to do with medicine. Mars and Venus in the 12th could be pharmaceutical people. Automobile industry, because Mars is concerned with automobiles, so is Venus. So you can make automobile engineers, for example. With Jupiter and Mars as Amatyakaraka, it can become careers in law, because Jupiter is concerned with legal stuff. With military, because Mars is concerned with military. In terms of execution, in terms of strategy, because Jupiter is a Karaka of wisdom, of higher learning, strategy master. With Mars, it becomes a good strategist. Athletics. Coaches, motivational coaches, excellent motivational coaches have Jupiter with Mars exalted. With Saturn, Mars with Saturn, what does it bring? Again, engineering, because Saturn is logic driven, like Mars is. Saturn is interested in construction. Mars is interested in logic and reasoning. Therefore, it gives all sorts of construction-based engineering of different disciplines. Project management. Saturn is management, like Jupiter. Security. Mars is concerned with law enforcement, security. Construction of all kinds, like I said, law enforcement, yes, definitely. Saturn is concerned with maintaining law and order. Saturn is a very justice kind of a planet, okay? It is just. Now with Rahu and Ketu, once again, we take a little deviation. They are very devious energies. With Rahu and Mars, it can become careers related to aerospace, related to robotics, pathology. Rahu also stands for pathology, by the way. Defense innovation, all kinds of AI-based new drones, all these kinds of things can be Rahu, okay? Rahu is a very electronics-driven kind of a planet. Tech industry, tech startups is Mars and Rahu. Anything tech-related, think Rahu and Mars, because it requires logic and it requires thinking in terms of software. Software industry is dominated by Rahu and Ketu. More like Rahu, I would say. Ketu is more like coders. So, conjoined Mars and Ketu leads to surgery because Ketu and Mars both love to cut things. So, they make excellent surgeons, Mars and Ketu. Occult practices of all kinds also, that is brought about by Ketu, that energy. Criminal justice system. Mars is into law enforcement. That's what brings about criminal justice. Justice part comes from Ketu, criminal part comes from Mars. So criminal justice system, legals, lawyers can come from Mars and Ketu with certain arrangements, obviously. Martial arts of all kinds. You have karate, what is that? I can't remember these Chinese names. But anyway, martial arts, karate is the popular one. Or judo, for example. Then comes psychic surgery of all kinds. Occult healers, they can also come from Mars and Ketu. That's the energy of Mars. You need to get this before we get into next one. Jupiter, as Amatyakaraka is coming up. Listen to the entire podcast and I'll see you in the next.
Career studies. Mars is Amatyakaraka. When Mars becomes the Amatyakaraka, the planet of energy, action, courage, discipline, and technical skill becomes the ministerial executor of the soul's mission. This translates into a professional style that is dynamic, decisive, and often oriented toward solving problems through direct action. Individuals with Mars as Amatyakaraka tend to gravitate toward fields that require precision, speed, leadership in high-pressure situations, and the ability to work in competitive or challenging environments. They excel in professions involving engineering, the military, law enforcement, surgery, athletics, crisis management, and entrepreneurship in technical sectors. Mars here gives a drive to lead from the front, tackle obstacles head-on, and bring measurable results through persistence and discipline. A strong Mars as Amatyakaraka fosters resilience, technical expertise, and a capacity to inspire through action. When afflicted, it can produce impulsiveness, unnecessary conflict, burnout, or a combative work style. Career success depends on balancing assertiveness with strategic patience, using Mars's drive to build rather than to burn bridges. Now, first house. Career focus, military leadership, entrepreneurship, competitive sports, technical startups, engineering, crisis response roles. Strengths, commanding presence, decisiveness, physical and mental endurance, willingness to take initiative. Challenges, impulsiveness in decision-making, career instability from conflicts or rushed actions. Second house, career focus, land development, construction, defense contracting, mechanical trades, finance tied to physical assets. Strengths, practical approach to resource building, ability to protect and grow wealth, technical resource management. Challenges, aggressive financial strategies risking stability, disputes over family or joint resources. Third house, career focus, media production, armed forces communication roles, technical publishing, adventure sports, sales and competitive markets. Strengths, courage and networking, persuasive technical presentation, quick response in field work. Challenges, over-aggressiveness in collaborations, restlessness leading to frequent career shifts. Fourth house, career focus, real estate development, homeland security, agriculture machinery, infrastructure projects. Strengths, strong execution in property-related ventures, ability to mobilize resources for large-scale local projects. Challenges: career stress tied to domestic conflicts, overextension, and community disputes. Fifth house, career focus: sports management, defense strategy, speculative ventures in engineering or technology, technical education. Strengths: strategic creativity, leadership in competitive sectors, disciplined approach to training and mentorship. Challenges: risky speculative moves, over-assertiveness with subordinates or students. Sixth house, career focus: military service, law enforcement, surgery, competitive legal or technical fields, high-pressure problem-solving roles. Strengths: ability to work methodically under stress, endurance in competitive environments, direct problem resolution. Challenges: workplace rivalries escalating into conflicts, risk of overwork and burnout. Seventh house, career focus: business partnerships in technical fields, defense trade, security consultancy, high-stakes negotiations. Strengths: strong partnership leadership, tactical negotiation skills, competitive advantage in joint ventures. Challenges: power struggles with partners, aggressive negotiation, alienating potential allies. Eighth house, career focus: crisis management, investigative security, defense intelligence, technical R&D in high-risk industries. Strengths: courage in handling confidential or high-pressure transformations, ability to work in secrecy with precision. Challenges: sudden career disruptions, disputes over joint ventures or intellectual property. Ninth house, career focus: military diplomacy, defense policy, technical education at a global level, international infrastructure projects. Strengths: strong moral and tactical leadership, influence in policy-driven technical initiatives. Challenges: over-defensiveness of personal beliefs in professional debates, resistance to alternative strategic approaches. 10th house, career focus: corporate operations leadership, engineering management, defense command, technical governance roles. Strengths: high public visibility through results-driven leadership, decisive authority in technical or operational matters. Challenges: power clashes in leadership hierarchies, career setbacks from hasty large-scale decisions. 11th house, career focus: defense alliances, large-scale engineering collaborations, sports federations, competitive trade networks. Strengths: strategic alliance building, ability to mobilize resources in collective projects, action-oriented network leadership. Challenges: overcommitment to too many competitive ventures, disputes in large group settings. 12th house, career focus: international defense consultancy, technical operations abroad, crisis response for overseas projects, covert strategic roles. Strengths: discrete execution in high-stakes global assignments, ability to work under isolation and pressure. Challenges: professional isolation, difficulty maintaining recognition for behind-the-scenes contributions, career impact from overseas conflicts.